Hello everyone, welcome back to the ELI PNU English consultation session. This is our second session, and today we've received questions about English language in general. And we have Miss Sanam Ibrahimi with us today. She's a senior English instructor at the English Language Institute Princess Noor University. She's very experienced. She has 10 years experience at PNU and in teaching English. Welcome, Miss Sanam.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to be here today. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, I'm going to start. I'm going to jump right in with the questions.
Great.
So, our first question is about English pronunciation. The question is, how would you advise someone to improve their pronunciation when speaking English?
Okay, so I think this is a really good question because this is something that comes up a lot with a lot of non-speaking, non-native speakers. People tend to focus a lot on accents, and I just wanted to touch on that. I think there's a big difference that we all need to recognize between accent and pronunciation. We shouldn't get the two confused. What accent you have, or what accent you're learning, or whatever accent your teacher has, it doesn't matter. Accent is a separate thing. To improve your pronunciation, you would need to do more listening, practice your speaking more, but especially listening. It all starts with your receptive skills. Also, when you're learning a new word for the first time, for instance, let's talk about the word coincidence, for example. We need to break these words down. The reason why people mispronounce words is because they haven't broken the word down and they don't know the parts of the word. And this is what causes problems in pronunciation. So, for instance, in the word coincidence, we have 4 parts. Coincidence. Now, if I was to miss out one of these parts, then I would mispronounce that word. So just remembering that accent and pronunciation are 2 different things. If you want to improve your pronunciation, focus on the parts of the word and getting it right and making sure that you're saying each part of the word. And just doing more listening and focusing more on your receptive skills. You can do that by just, watching shows and things like that more in English as well.
Okay, so you're saying basically the accent is not important.
Yes, it's not related to pronunciation. They're 2 different things. Accent is just about the country and, just the kind of way that people have spoken from a very long time ago. It's got nothing to do with pronunciation. All accents are accepted. We don't, assume that the American or the British is better or the South African or the Australian or whatever. There's no accent that's better than the other. Accent is one thing. It's just about the country and how the people just started speaking in that country. Pronunciation is, making sure that you're giving each part of the word, the syllables we call it, they're right, and you're making sure that you're pronouncing all the syllables correctly. And that's what we need to focus on.
Okay, so do you think there is a connection between reading English and pronunciation?
I think definitely reading would help, but again, I would focus more on listening more so that you can hear people say the word and then you can kind of then practice and repeat. So that's why when we teach English in our classes, what we do is we drill, right? So the teacher would say the word first and then we drill. We get the students to repeat. The students have to hear first and then drill and repeat. And this is how you get the pronunciation correct.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That was a really helpful answer, actually. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, so the next question is quite closely connected. The next question is, can you give us advice on improving spoken English, so speaking English? Not about pronunciation, just speaking in general.
Yeah, definitely. So again, this would be improved. And this is for any language, by the way. Any language, if you want to be better at speaking it, you would have to practice. This isn't specifically for English, it's for any language. Even myself, I'm trying to learn Arabic. So when I go outside, I try to speak more Arabic. When I have the opportunity to, this is my chance to practice, right? So I would try to speak Arabic with the cab driver, with the people working in the restaurants, with maybe even sometimes cleaners and things like that. Anybody that I know could understand Arabic, I would use that to my advantage and try to speak with them, because of course sometimes we don't have family members that speak English, for instance, right? Some of our students, they're like, teacher, how can I practice? I don't have anybody to speak to. But I'm like, but you go outside, you have the opportunity to speak English with, the cafe worker, your driver, or whoever it is. Practicing, speaking, then you would get better, of course. The practicing is the only way we can improve the speaking. And of course, listening as well, so that we can hear it more, so that when we speak, we're pronouncing things correctly. But yeah, practicing it, speaking with more people, with your friends. Maybe you could make it a thing. You could, do a little, game with your friend or whatever. You could just make a little arrangement. You could say, look, every day for 30 minutes. And this is something that I did actually. I was like, to my partner, I was like, for 30 minutes every day, I want you to speak to me only in Arabic so that I can learn. And we have to do it for 30 minutes every single day.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So, just putting in that effort, think of ways to make it fun and creative, and set yourself goals. You could say, okay, every day I want to learn a new word, and I want to learn how to pronounce it, and I want to use this word and say this word. So yeah, making little goals like that. Practice, practice, practice.
I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah. And also, I think just to add to what you said, you shouldn't feel shy when you speak. Don't feel embarrassed.
Definitely.
Feel shy. We're all learning,
Exactly.
And I think anyone who has experience with learning a new language, they'll understand, like, if you're shy, it means you're not going to actually practice.
Exactly, yeah.
Or speak comfortably in front of people. Okay, thank you so much for this one. So the next question is quite a big question. The question is, how would you encourage young learners to start learning English? So here I'm assuming they're referring to children or teenagers. And I'd say maybe we could focus especially on children who aren't in international schools and not around people who speak English.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, this question often comes up a lot. I feel like when I'm, just speaking to mothers and things like that, they often ask this question a lot. So first of all, I would say whatever show that your child likes, because as we know now, children are always on their tablets and phones and all this, these gadgets, I would set the language to English. So that's the first thing you could do, setting the language on your computer, on your laptop, on your phone, on the tablet, set it to English, because they will need that for their schools and for work and things like that. We need to know how to, navigate any technology in English. It's very important. English is the language of a lot of technology. So that's the first thing you could do. From there onwards, I would, again, set the language of any show that they're watching to English, if you have the option. If not, then, maybe just Google whatever show it is that they like, see if there is the English option. On Netflix, you can do that. On YouTube, I feel like most of the kids' shows do have the English option. I have children myself. So when I want to, for example, encourage them to learn Arabic, I would set the language to Arabic. And, generally kids, they all kind of watch the same shows, Paw Patrol and all those, kind of shows. They all have the options of being shown in English. So that's number 2. So setting the language to any devices that they use in English. Set the language of the shows that they like to watch in English. Of course, you've got the cinemas now as well. They show the movies in English. And also, if they do need a bit of help, you can always put the subtitles in Arabic for them, so they can always kind of refer to it. And that's going to improve their reading as well, and their translation skills, which is going to be amazing, right? And then the other thing I would do, and this is something that I did with my son, is I take him down to the bookshop or to the library, and I let him choose the books that he wants to read. So you know, as opposed to just saying, okay, you know what, you need to start learning English, you need to start reading. I let your child choose whatever books they like, whatever, you know, cartoons or whatever they want to read about, let them choose so that they can be interested in the book and feel like, you know what, this is something that I like, so let me read about it. Giving them that choice, making it a fun thing for them, you know, giving them more, you know, power into choosing how they learn. I think that would empower them and make them feel, you know, happy about it. And lastly, there are a lot of useful resources out there. One that I found really useful myself, and I used myself when I taught my son how to read actually from scratch, was a site called Twinkle. And I think we can actually demo it now and just share our screen. So it's called Twinkle. And they offer lots of resources for many different subjects. It's not just to learn English. Again, as you can see here on our screen, we have the option of setting it to Arabic language, but we can also change it to English. And you can see there's the different types of the dialects of the English language. And yeah, this site is extremely useful for learning English. I literally taught my son how to read using the resources on the site. They have a phonics scheme, which is amazing. It's literally the same scheme that teachers in the UK use to teach, you know, the primary students. As you can see here, they do have kind of like a subscription program. So you could pay, I think it's £5 a month for like the kind of classical kind of program, and then they have £10 a month as well to get access to like obviously more stuff. So yeah, I would highly recommend that. And like I said, it's not just for English, it's for all of the subjects. You've got science on there, geography, a lot of different things. And as you can see, it ranges from ages 5 to 11. So you could use it for even some of, you know, your children who are a little bit older. You could use it for early years as well. Honestly, I can't praise it enough. It's absolutely amazing. There's a lot of resources, a lot of guidance on there, and it's really good. So yeah, definitely, you know, check out the resources on the internet. So many different websites to help. But personally, Twinkle, I would say, is amazing.
And also, I can see here there's free activities, free.
Yeah, so they do. Yeah, they have some resources that are free, but if you want to have access to more resources, then you just have to pay just, you know, £5 a month, and then they have another option which is £10 a month for more resources.
The website is called Twinkle.
Yeah, with no E. And they have audio books as well. This is another good thing. If your child doesn't like to read, encourage them to listen to audiobooks. Now we have, you know, so much technology out there that we can use. So they could literally just follow along, right? So they're using their receptive skills, they're listening, and they're seeing the words, and the story is being read to them. And by that, you know, you can encourage them, and maybe one day that they could feel like, okay, you know what, I don't want to use the audiobook anymore. I now feel confident enough to read the book myself. So audiobooks is great. And yeah, they have that on Twinkle. It's honestly amazing.
Okay, thank you. That was a very detailed advice. Thank you so much for the website.
No worries.
I think I've made notes here of your advice. Is there anything you'd like to add or is everything?
Yeah, it looks great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so then let's move on to the next question. And this is perhaps going to be the last question because we're running out of time. Okay, so the last question is in regards to IELTS. Of course, everyone has probably heard of IELTS, but not everyone necessarily understands the purpose of IELTS, the importance of IELTS, what exactly is it for, who is it for? So the question is, why do I need IELTS and what is it?
Okay, cool. So let's start off with what it is. So IELTS is a proficiency exam. You to show your employer or whoever it is that's taking you on board to their institute that you can speak English. So it's a proficiency exam to showcase your English language abilities. It's a specific exam that requires specific skills that you need to know. They have their own kind of format when it comes to testing the speaking, the writing, and so on. So it's really good for work purposes. Certain jobs require IELTS. So if you want to become a teacher, for example, teaching English, you would need to have the IELTS for that to show that you are proficient at English. Also, generally, some other jobs as well, like, if you want to go into the translation kind of field of things, any kind of jobs maybe to do with customer service as well, and things like that, perhaps law and so on. But it's like I said, a proficiency exam that you would need for work purposes. And here at Princess Nora, we offer courses, IELTS courses, to prepare you for the exam. We also offer the exam as well, and it's internationally recognized. So this is what makes IELTS so important. It's recognized all over the world. There are other proficiency exams as well, like STEPS and so on, but it's IELTS that's the one that's recognized everywhere. So you could take the certificate and travel with it. You wouldn't need to keep, doing other proficiency exams, which is what makes it so, creditable. So like I said, here in Princess Nora, we offer courses to prepare you for the IELTS exam. Here you can see our brochure, and we offer it at an amazing price. You would be getting 4 weeks, 4 days a week for 3 hours. And like I said, our price is very, very, very affordable. If you do ever have a one-to-one private class with an IELTS teacher, generally you're looking at around 300 to 350 reals an hour, which is quite pricey. But our prices are much more affordable. You're getting more for your money. And we have IELTS trained teachers who know all about it. Like I said, it's very specific, the exam. It's not the same as how you would test achievement. It's proficiency. So it's very specific. You need to be trained. You have to practice for it. The questions are written in a particular way. So it requires some training. And yeah, I would recommend it for anybody who's looking to, take their English language to that next level, to show their employers that, I can speak it to that IELTS level. If you're planning to work, if you're planning to travel, it's definitely really good. I always recommend the students to do the IELTS exam because it will help them with their future.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Ibrahimi. And I think that's all for today. So hopefully we'll see everyone next week. And thank you again.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And I hope everybody else did too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.